One of my favorite memories when I think back to what RuneScape was like when I was a kid was you teleport to the Grand Exchange and there's just so many people and no one really knew what they were doing. I feel like everyone was so much more naive. And you might see somebody with a max cape and you'd be like, oh my God, that guy's got a max cape. It would snap my neck. Okay? I'd be like, oh shit, yo. I guess you also had the mega rares too, or the mega rares, what are they called? The super rares? I'm talking about the Santa hat, the party hat. There was just so many things that I would just look at it and I would just be in awe. And it would give me so much drive. Be like, dang, I want to be like that guy. And I feel like RuneScape nowadays does not have that. I go back and forth in my head if this is just my point of view. Maybe I'm just overexposed to RuneScape. I don't think I am. From what I can tell and, vibe check others, no one is really ever impressed by anyone else. Well, I mean, sorry. People can be impressive, right? And I think that's kind of like how Snowflake accounts have been born. But I mean like a specific item, like a Zuck helm, a max cape, a quiver, Radiant Oath Plate, Blorva. Those are all like some of the coolest things you can kind of achieve, but there's not much beyond that. And when I look back at how I looked at this game when I was a kid and was having my most fun, there was always these goals that were just like so unobtainable that if you did obtain them, you could flex them. And I would think they were so cool. And I just don't know if there is anything like that now. And that was just such a driving force for me to want to play the game. And so that's why I want to talk about why I think old school RuneScape needs a completionist cape or a trimmed max cape. A cape that's just one step further, that when you teleport around people and you see one, you're like, oh, damn, bro, he's got one of those. I'll get into the specifics of what I think would make a good completionist cape in a minute. But I do want to mention, I think Jagex may have tried this with the collection log staffs they added. I feel like that had the opportunity to be like, wow, he's got that staff, but I don't know if I've just never seen one or if they're just unimpressive or if I just don't care. That was something that's like, the collection log and getting all those items is such a long grind, and you can make the argument like that's what would be impressive. But it has not impressed me yet. So I'm just going to say like that's not what it didn't answer this problem that I've been thinking about that I feel needs solving. I had really high hopes that the Avernic Treads, the new boot from Doom, was going to be the thing that solved this problem. In my mind, in a perfect world, these boots were going to come out. I mean, dude, if you just go look at the stats of those boots, they're so insane. They're so powerful. And when I saw those stats, I was like, dude, this is the most insane item. This could be a League's item. But they just weren't rare enough. Like, they're a dime a dozen. I somehow have 3 now. 3 pairs. And I was really hoping that like these Avernic Treads were just going to be the item for a long time where I'm like, damn, bro. But then again, like it's just tied to GP that's just relatively attainable, I'm really not impressed by any Third Age or anything. Anything that's like money related is just, it's so hard to impress with. And that's why I think, they tried that with the collection log staffs. But it's just so hard just because of where real world trade has been and just how solved the game is now. Everyone has max capes. So it's just so hard to really have something that's just impressive, where we can all instantly look at it and go, wow, that's cool. And like I said before, just the Zuck helm, Radiant Oath Plate, and Blorva just don't do it for me. Like, I just don't care. But I want something to snap my neck. I want something to be cool. I didn't look up what the RS3 completionist cape is. I just assume it's just doing a lot of shit like quest cape and maxing and whatnot. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what it is, to be honest. When I first started to ideate this idea of this new cape in my head, I instantly was like, oh, you could just make it a 200 mil all cape. Like if this guy has 200 mil all and he's standing at the GE and let's say he's got some glowy max cape on, if I teleport past him, I'm going to go, oh shit, that guy's got the crazy max cape. That guy's 200 mil all, no way. But I think that would actually just go too far down the rabbit hole and it would just be too rare and we would just never see it. I could be wrong though. The 200 mil all could be the answer and it could scratch the itch. But at the time of recording this, I don't know how many people have 200 mil all. I don't think it's more than 10 because Sailing just came out. I think it's maybe closer to 5. I have no idea. And I don't think people log into those accounts. I don't think those guys are still playing. And if they are, they're serial killers. That's terrifying. After that, I was thinking, okay, what if you had every other cape? What if you had a cape that said you had all the capes? You had the Champions cape, you had the Max cape, you had the Quiver, you had the Infernal cape, you had the Mage Arena 2 cape. A cape that says you have all the capes. That's the Completionist cape. But I think that's just too easy. It would be cool for one day because so many people would already probably have it done. We would instantly see a lot, and it would feel just like Blorva or Radiant or anything that would just be something you got to go check off the box to go get. So I think that idea is, I don't think that works either. You see, it's hard. I want something that impresses me. I want this cape to be something that if I just dedicated a large chunk of my life, I could go get it, but I'm not going to go get it. But I want to still be impressed by it. And I want it to be common enough to where I do see it every now and then. This is hard. But I think about this so much just because, like I said, this feeling that these items used to give me was just such a driving force of, honestly, like happiness when I was a kid. It was almost like the same, I don't know, like growing up, I just love sports cars, and I can remember when I would see a Lamborghini or a Ferrari for the first time, and kind of like the butterflies you get in your stomach, RuneScape items would give me the same thing just seeing them. And that's insane that these pixels, just seeing other people having the pixels, make me feel the same way when I would see a Lamborghini driving by. Like, the game needs that. Okay, I'll stop delaying. I thought about it a lot. This is the idea I've landed on. With all of my videos, I encourage you to go to the comments and tell me what you think. I love hearing what you guys say. It's been pretty good dialogue. Appreciate the support in the last couple videos. It's been awesome. Anyways, what if there was a cape that showed you were on the front page of a high score, albeit a skill, a boss, separated by iron, UIM hardcore? You could wear this cape, and let's say you could have a max cape variant, because I know a lot of people like to use their max capes. Damn, maybe an infernal cape variant. I don't know how you do this, but if you were front page of something. Give me a second. I'm going to do a little math. Okay, I just went on the RuneScape high scores page, and if you count all of the skills, all of the bosses, like clues, bounty hunter, anything that is kind of tracked on the high scores, I quickly counted it. I came out to 108. There's 108 different front pages you could get on. A front page is the top 25. If we take that 108 and we times it by 25, we get 2,700. That means hypothetically 2,700 front page spots. However, we got to take that a step further. It's way cooler if you're an Iron Man, that's your own high scores. Or if you're a hardcore, UIM, you know what I'm saying? If we take that 108, we times it by 25, 2,700, and we split that up by the 4 game modes, I guess you'd have to kind of respect everybody. So you'd have group hardcore, you'd have UIM, you'd have normal group. We're not going to count the green helms. You have hardcore after that, iron, and main. So that's 6. That would give us about 16,000 people that could be front page in something. And I think that would snap my neck. I do. I think that in my head, I have worked through this and I have thought about it for a while now before I came to you guys. Obviously, I'm just having fun daydreaming about cool things that could come to RuneScape. But I just miss the yearning for something else someone had that's actually impressive. All of my friends are maxed. I'm currently maxing my iron right now. But it's just it's something that's pretty attainable, and I don't really care when I see someone else's max cape. But could you imagine if my max cape had the variant that said I was front page, and I got to wear that in front of all my friends? Bro, then someone's gonna he's got the front page cape. Let me right click on him and look him up to see what he's front paging. Oh dang, dude, he did Blue Gauntlet a bunch. What a fucking loser. I was front page Blue Gauntlet on hardcore. That's a story for a different time. Okay, I was front page rank 11, by the way. But not only do I think that this new cape, I don't know what you would call it, front page cape, pretty stupid name. But not only do I think it would snap my neck, do I think it would, actually be cool, but it also puts the front page of all the high scores under a microscope, which is the best part. The amount of people that will be fighting for these spots and bringing attention to the rampant botting that goes on in this game. So many. And I know the second I brought this up, I know a lot of you immediately started thinking about, the front page are just covered with bots. Yeah, they probably won't be if we're bitching about it every single day. If we can just tell that this is just a bot. Dude, I think this would take so many Honestly, it would kind of be a pain in the ass for Jagex now I'm thinking about it. That's the only downside, but I do give them my money, so that's their job, not mine. But we would care about the high scores. They would get posted about all the time. It would be so much harder, I think, for bots to just go under the radar forever. You see these Reddit posts sometimes where, like, the front 3 pages of some of these wildy bosses are just bots. But if we had human beings fighting for these spots to get this cool cape, to then actually flex, to actually impress other people, not like Blorva, not like Radiant, not like a Max Cape, but something really cool that you could be proud of, the high scores would have to be clean. And us as a community would bring attention to the high scores that are fucked. And Jagex would have to do something about it, right? This is just my willful thinking. This is a positive video. I'm having fun talking about this. Sorry, I'm getting a little stressed. I'm not going to lie. I've been cooking this idea in my head for a while now, like I said. And, I have finally voiced it. I've said it out loud. Whew, weight lifted off my chest, guys. This was my idea, and I like it. Anyways, I don't want to yap for too long. Tell me what you think. Am I just logged in too much and those max capes and Zuck helms are cool? Is there no need for a completionist cape? Is the collection log staff actually sick and I'm just stupid? Is there a flaw in my idea of the top page cape? Dude, I don't know. The name is so bad. That's the worst part about it. It really is. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to my video today. I'm live on Twitch almost every single day. Please subscribe. See you next time.